Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Recovery Drive returns for week 5 of season 5, and we are here to talk about Oulton Park. And oh my lord, we got a lot to talk. We got a lot to unpack tonight. My name is Adam Thursby. I'm the guide. I'm going to try and keep this ship from running into the rocks. Joining me tonight, down in the bottom left, right there on your screen, is Mr. Adam Willie. Welcome in, sir. Anthony Anderson joins us again. I meant to say Anthony Anderson is driving, because he tends to drive
Not
during
anymore.
the show. You're welcome to, man. If you want to practice. Get ready for Indy. And Rick Pixel there on the bottom right hand side of your screen. And again, via satellite audio only, Mr. Ridian Lloyd Davis out of Wales. And welcome to all of you here this week. Oulton Park, gentlemen. Oulton Park, gentlemen. The second week in a row, we got to have a conversation, and it's not gonna be the conversation I think people want to have. Anderson, I know we're gonna talk to you a little bit, buddy.
I'd rather not.
I think we've all got dirty laundry to hang up on the line.
A little bit. There was a lot. There was a lot to hang out there.
The one week might be watching. Who knows?
Well, we've got a few people in the chat. Again, I want to welcome everybody, and we're gonna jump over first thing, and I just want to go through some of the race stuff that we saw during. Now we're on the Am and Pro Am race first, and the focus here is on driver the number 460 car, and this is not to call them out here for the first half of this lap. There's a turn in here, a bump. They don't ruin anyone else's race. You see some nonsense going on in the background there, but I wanted to call out this specific lap and this specific incident, and I'll pause it when we get there so we can have a conversation about it. Obviously whoever's in this 460 car, because I don't match up driver numbers with drivers when I'm looking to do this, is struggling, and you'll see that struggle a little bit during this lap. However, the part I want to focus on was not their fault, number one, and number two is the main point I want to make as we get there. So again, you see a dip off into the grass. There's a bit of a struggle here. We're about to see another one as we come up the hill into that fast right-hander at the top, diving off into the grass. Does everyone know what a yellow flag means? Can you three raise your hands for me? Davis, I assume you do. Can you guys raise your hand if you know what a yellow flag means? You do. Okay, so here's the incident. We get the push, we get the turn, and then kabam and kabam. Does it look like anybody slowed down?
No.
It depends how quick that yellow flag's raised, though, because I mean I've noticed sometimes if I've been right behind an incident, you don't get that warning until you're sort of right on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. That happens.
Okay, and that's why I'm asking you guys. I don't drive, you guys do. But this caught me out as something. The hard hit when he was sideways was avoidable to me. He was far enough out of the corner that you should have seen that as you came through, right? And that's what I'm wondering is I don't always know what, and to the folks in the chat, Diesel is in the chat, Justin's in the chat. I'm not calling anybody out. I don't even know what number car ran into that 460. What I'm getting at is I want to make sure that people understand what a yellow flag is and what it means, and that, yeah, you got to be careful. He was, to me, far enough off that corner, and again, you guys correct me, but he was far enough off that corner that pounding that he took in the side should have been avoidable. Not the initial push. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the after effects. Does that make sense?
I think it all comes down to how experienced you are, though, doesn't it? Because I mean, your brain's doing 1,000 things. I mean, I'm assuming this is very early on in the race.
This was lap 1. Yep.
Yeah, so your brain's doing 1,000 things. You got nerves, you got adrenaline, you got all sorts of things going on. You're potentially looking at the sort of apex of the corner or the other side. These things can catch up with you very quickly, and it's quite blind around there as well. That corner.
Yeah, it is.
It is, and that's why I wanted to ask you guys about it.
But yeah, if the warning flag didn't come up or came up last second, then it's very hard to avoid that kind of.
But look, we're watching T1 right here, and no contact, but a lot of wide driving, right? Like this race was brutal. I was kind of scared, kind of scary. kind of scary. And we're gonna get to the pro and silver class race very soon, Anderson. Your time is a ticking.
This track in general is scary.
So that's that's where. Thank you, Anderson, because you led me right where I wanted to go with it. Was part of the problem, and I don't want to put it all on the track because the drivers hold their responsibility, right? But I talked about it during the broadcast itself. Oulton Park is very narrow, right? It's not a GT3 track. I'm sorry, it's not. These cars are too wide for this course, and SRO races there anyway. We race there anyway because it's there. Is the track? Does the track have something to blame? Is there a little bit of blame there on the track for this because it is so narrow and trying to find those passing places are not easy?
Oh, absolutely. I'd say 100% the track is to blame. Well, it is to blame for a lot of these incidents.
Okay.
I was riding on board with one of the cars in the AM race, and the one thing I noticed is the first cars to go were the Hondas. Very difficult cars to handle at the best of times, but when you're undulating so much and the track is so bumpy and the curbs are vicious, it's not a track that AMs and Pro-Ams would probably enjoy driving on.
Okay.
Really. It's very easy to catch you out. And it caught me out as well. I'm in silver. Yeah, and I agree with you. I don't think it should be a GT3 track. Like, it obviously was originally designed for touring cars, which are a lot slower, a lot smaller. I don't know who decided GT3s would be a good idea would be suited to this track at all.
Well, that's always been my thing with Oulton Park, is it's so narrow. And again, as someone who does iRacing, great for Formula, even like the Dalaras, the Formula Vs, as you said, Davis, the touring cars, great track. I actually enjoy it in iRacing in those cars. I have never enjoyed this track in ACC because of how narrow it is compared to the size of the vehicles that you're taking around it. Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's of all the, I think there's only one British track that's probably worse than Oulton Park, and that's not in ACC. I can't remember which track that was, but yeah, of all the tracks in ACC, this is probably one of the hardest to drive on.
Yeah, guys, what Adam, Anderson, Pixel, what do you guys think?
Are you going, Adam?
No, go ahead.
I pretty much second Davis's comment. It's too narrow, it's too bumpy, especially for the aero-driven cars. Like I know you called out the Honda, but the Porsches, I know they had to be really hurting. The McLaren was not fun, especially in Sector 1. It's really bumpy there. You lose grip a lot of the time. So even just one wrong bump and you can completely go off into the grass. Thankfully, that didn't happen to me, but other things happened to me. But I don't think it's fully to blame. Obviously, they're drivers. They have their own role to play. I'd say it's probably like a 70-30 split. Probably 70 track, 30 driver.
Yeah. Okay. Willie, what about you?
See, I really enjoyed driving at Oulton Park, other than a little bit of lag issues that I had. And unlike Anderson, Sector 1 for me was probably my fastest sector. So, I don't know if I just like the track more than Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about that downhill left is very hard to control.
Oh, I love it. I love downhill left. I really do. But Sector 2, for at least me, was god-awful. I hated Sector 2. Sector 2 is probably where we lost a lot of people due to incidences, other than T1.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. It's got there are 3 sections just within Sector 2 that is so easy to lose it on. The hairpin, first chicane, second chicane.
Yep.
It's just a horrible collection of corners.
Especially everyone's sending it in chicane 2. That's where everyone sends it.
I'm saying nothing.
Pixel, what about you? What do you think of Oulton overall? How do you think it impacted this weekend and how things turned out?
I really enjoyed Adam enjoying the track. It's all I've really got to say about it. I you know, it was fun. It was a track. It was another track. I collected 15 seconds of damage on lap 1 and done a whole race with 15 seconds of damage. But still finished ahead of Adam. So you know, we're all happy here.
Yeah, I still have 2 to go. Okay, just give me a minute.
That's funny. Well, let's jump over to the Pro and Silver race, and we're gonna see if we can find.
Before we do, Adam.
Yeah.
Sorry. Before we do, can I just say in the team briefing before when we were watching the AMs and Pro-Ams, and before the briefing or just after the briefing, I said we'll be hard pushed to do worse than the AMs and Pro-Ams this week. And we fucking
and you pushed it. You did it. You found a way to do it. You guys, yeah, they did. The Pros and Silvers found a way to do it. And I'm just going to switch around here before we get this started. There he is, the number 16 car, Anthony Anderson, going to lead out now. Anderson able to qual in first for this race, right? Like because Anderson and I talk often enough. I was very happy to see him qual in first. I will admit it. Even as a commentator, you don't put your focus on a specific car during the race, you know, because you're picking favorites. But you still have certain people that you watch, right? I've said on this show, and I've said during races before, Delilah Hazel was a blast to watch for me. Anderson is another one of those guys that's just absolutely fun to watch race. And so to see him qual in first, I was very happy for that. It didn't last, and there we go. Oh.
Hey, were you not happy for me? I passed Anderson right there. Look at that.
No, we'll get to you.
Anderson gets tapped coming out of T1, and there we go. More spinning. This is our Pro and Silver. So again, at least the AM and the Pro-Am guys waited until the hairpin down here to really kick things off. Pro and Silver were just like, nope, right out of T1. We're on it. We got this. Don't worry about it. And so, Anderson, talk to me about the start of this race. Talk to me about T1, I should say coming out of T1, right? Let's go back to it. I do want to talk to you about it, and it's not to make fun of you. We're going to do that with Rig Roast later. We're going to make fun of people. I'm not here to make fun of you. I want to understand this because you came out a little bit, right? You did come out, but you were in front.
Yeah, so pretty much what happened was I knew if I kept Jake out as wide as I could, which I did, I started in the right lane, pushed him all the way over to the left to try to get the best angle on the turn in that I could. I would have the shortest distance and have the lead on the exit, which is exactly what happened. It's just, I guess he held a bit more speed than I thought he was going to be able to. I did get the cut in front, which is what I wanted. It's just I did the cut in front a little too close to his front bumper. And by the time, you know, he saw me swing in front of him, I think he when you're on the outside line like that, you're going to have more speed. So me cutting in front, I was a little slower, trying to pick up the pace again. So by the time I swung in front of him, he gave my rear bumper a little taparoo, and there was nothing I could do after that.
And we see here just trying to stay out of trouble for the rest of lap 1 because there's a little door banging going on there. Look at you playing games with whoever.
Honestly, after that bump, I was very frustrated. So it was a matter of I need to get back up to Jake as quick as possible. Even though I knew I had 20-something seconds of damage from that. So I was in just hardcore grind mode, trying to pass as many people as I could in the opening laps. And then there's, Willie flying off the track.
Yeah, I see that. And we caught, I don't think we caught a lot of that during the broadcast, but I just saw it here. And there another push as someone gets knocked out of the way.
That was the easiest 2 positions in 1 quarter of my life.
Was that you?
Saying.
Was that you, Willie?
Yeah,
you
that was me.
got boffed off track. Now, Willie, let me ask you a question though. Seeing the replay and seeing how you had a little bit of a connection issue, right? Do you blame that other driver for that happening?
No,
Okay.
because several laps later, I got him back
Okay. Gotcha.
by accident.
I was just curious.
Accident.
And I don't want to just focus on Anderson here all night tonight. I don't want to pick on the guy. I felt so bad after this race because, again, even as someone who sits outside of the, I have highlights.
Oh, now I feel bad because the person that made contact is in the chat. Sorry, Jake.
Oh, you're right out. Let's get him.
Anderson.
I don't want to pick on Anderson, but like I said, as a commentator, as someone who sits outside the league, it's one of those things where, again, you still have people that you enjoy watching, and Anderson is one of those guys.
Oh, look at this guy.
He is one of those guys you enjoy watching, and so I felt bad. He qualified first this week, and then immediately into turn one, gets just pushed off to the side, and it was really kind of brutal. So yeah. I get what you were trying to do, and so Anderson, let me ask you: do you take a little ownership in that, or do you feel like it could have been saved by the other driver, and he could have backed off a little bit?
I mean, you could make an argument for either side. Like, you could say that I didn't need to swing out in front of him, which I didn't have to do that, but that was going to be my way of securing P1 in turn one. I know you're not really supposed to do that, but once this is one of those tracks that once you kind of secure your place, it's hard to pass.
Yeah.
So if I secured that, I was very confident in myself and my pace to be able to hold P1 throughout the race. So I was just gunning for it from the start. But at the same time, you could say that Jake could have saw me on the outside swing, or on the inside and swing out and lift. Yeah. But it's a coin flip. You can argue either way.
No, I got you.
And that is exactly why we didn't penalize either driver for that particular incident, because it could have gone either way.
Well, there you go, Stewart, right here, calling it out.
I was about to say, there's two of us in here.
I know.
I'm pretty sure all of us are Stewart.
Well, but to be fair, Anderson, you were involved in that incident. You're not allowed to say anything about it, so
exactly.
You don't really count in that particular case.
And I really didn't want to comment on that one because he's my teammate.
Oh, Lordy Lou. Teams are just for fun, though, this season. You still got to do your job. And besides, I would have hammered him. I would have been like, nope, Anderson hung out. Gone. 30 seconds. Whatever position he got, knock it back 2 spots. I'm done with him.
See,
now I know to never be on a team with Molson.
You say that Anderson didn't get that penalty, but another driver did, unfortunately.
Listen, you absolutely want to be on my team. Because you don't because I'm slow, but you do because I'll block for you. I will 100% block for you. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I already know I'm slow, so I'm going to block for you because you're the faster driver. And number 3, I'm just dispassionate about incidents. I'm going to look. I don't care who's involved, even if it's myself. I'm going to be like, yep, that was me.
Well, hey, I will say this. So lap 1, after Anderson caught back up to me, we were trying to coordinate.
Yes.
Before he gained those 2 positions.
Gotcha.
We were doing some team orders.
There you go. That's the way to do
it. And I know he's faster than me. I'm going to let him around me.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Everybody else,
Oh, I'll do one of these. I'll just do one of these back and forth across the track, looking like I'm drunk. I will hold everybody up, let Anderson get out as far as he can. I don't care. If he's my teammate, that's where he's going. GNMC2 in the chat, thank you so much for your subscription. I appreciate you. We all do. It supports this channel and lets us keep moving. So thank you. I want to thank you before we move on here. Speaking of moving on, let's get away from the nasty highlights. We're going to talk a little bit more about them, though, coming up. But let's get over to our standings. Or let's look at the results for this race, and let's take a look at standings. For AM Pro, our AM class drivers, Jace Wright winning out at Oulton Park this week. Kenny O'Connor in 2nd, and Jester Floomp in 3rd. Steven Music, Terrell Saints Taylor, I'm sorry, coming up in 5th. I think that's his best finish of the season, and good on him. Terrell, I'll tell you what, Terrell's one of those drivers who I think I identify with Terrell because I'm slow, and I think he's one of our slower drivers, and that's not to pick on him because I'm one of those slower drivers. Excuse me. Occasionally gets hung up in incidents that are not of his making, but you know what? Cat shows up every week. He's out there every week.
Terrell has serious pace around Oulton.
Yeah,
he does.
He was grinding Oulton. He was almost doing like silver times.
He was doing silver times. He beat me.
But my big thing with him is he shows up every week, so I think it's awesome. Frank Reynolds in 6, Kirk McDaniels, Chikuba, John Rulin, and Chief Blaze. Chief Blaze with a do not start. He didn't even show up this week. So top 9, John Rulin in AM class. Let's go jump over to Pro AMs real quick. We'll get through those. Gian Cardoso wins out this week in the Pro Am class. Josie Austin right up there though. In 2nd, Stephen Tomazic, Justin Seckham. Sorry, after he was here last week, I got to remember that. Justin Seckham. A little bit further down this week, but we'll see. We'll take a look at the overall standings. Your boy Blue finishes in 5th. Edward Walsh, Alex Martin, Berke Beat, Maria Kroyachkova, and Robert Hepburn round out your top 10 in Pro Am. Jump up to silver, where we're going to find Adam Willey sitting up there. Brandon Walworth, though, finishing in 1st in the number 45 BMW. Timothy Glendinning, and there is Mr. Davis finishing with podium this week. Good job, sir, in the 139
Bravo.
car. Excellent.
Well, it's a we got off that.
Well, hey, 3rd is 3rd, right? Rob
Hey,
Keys,
3rd is 3rd. I just
Third
wish
is
it was a bit.
but Rob Keysar in 4th. Rick Pixel also joining us tonight, finishing in the top 5 with Adam Willey right behind him. There he is. We're all there.
Hey, Willie with the purple lap. I'm
And
proud
Willie
of you.
with the purple. Look at that. That's true. Finishing in 6th, but with a purple lap during the course of the race. Nikolai,
Hey,
go ahead, man. What's up?
I said last week that I was going to finish in the top 5. All right.
You lied.
No, listen. Listen.
Good.
If only I had bought that Ethernet cord that Blue put in the chat, I think I would have been all
Do
right.
not buy the Ethernet. Listen, first of all, it's not an Ethernet cord. It's a patch cable. Ethernet is a protocol, not a cable.
Okay, something
Let's-
to connect me directly to.
So,
Anyway, that's besides the point.
point being is you need some Cat 6. Don't buy what he told you. Go make one. Buy a
No,
box. Put the fittings on.
Where was it going with
Do you really
that?
think that's what it was though? It was your connection? Because we
majority
saw
of it.
what happened to you on track in regards to external cameras, but we don't know what it did to you. So, you know what I mean?
No, so to me, everybody else was doing what I was to you guys.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
I saw like somebody slowing up for a turn. I tried to shoot on the inside, bumped them.
Okay.
I
Gotcha,
think
gotcha.
the point he was trying to get to is he said I'll finish top 5 guaranteed, and I said to him, if you don't, you got to down 5 Mountain Dews in a row.
I haven't been able to do it.
And it just so happened he was like a 10th off me on the last lap, and then he just slid off into a wall.
Yeah, I screwed it.
Oh.
I could have had him into the
Could have
last
had
turn.
him. Could have had him, but that 6th place finish says you got a lot of Mountain Dew to drink, sir.
And I was talking to Anderson. I'm like, I wonder if Pixel knows that he's in 5th and I'm coming for him.
He was saying that.
Well, with that lap, though, again, that purple lap during the course of the race, I would say he probably knew you were coming. Nikolai Tsiabuk in 7th, Matt Comiskey finishes in 8th, and Mike Burkhoff in 9th. Mike Burkhoff in 9th, and Igor Kornikov bringing up P10 in the 159 BMW. And let's take a look at our pro finishers this week. Tom Foose takes the flag in pro this week at Oulton Park. Tobias Gable in 2nd, just smoking it at Oulton. And Charlie Tooth, the man from Australia, in 3rd, claiming that podium. Jake Wells, Anthony Anderson finishing in the top 5. Even with that bump at the beginning, Anderson, you're able to get yourself back up there. So finishing in the top 5, Jarrett Skinner, Paul Morris, Rocky Rocco, Remco Ottens. Well, actually, we only had 8 drivers, so that's the end of it right there. Remco Otten's not driving. I get a little excited when I start looking at him. Let's jump over to standings though and start with AM. Jester Flume continues to lead the series. Now, it's going to take an extra minute for the standings this week, guys, because I want to ask you. Let's just look at the top 5. Jester Flume, Stephen Music, Kenny O'Connor, Bruce Hopkins, and Jace Wright in the top 5 for AM class. You guys see the scores right there on your screen in front of you. 2 races left, right? We got Indy and we got Bathurst. Bathurst, a long one, 60 Am and Pro-Am, 90-minute Pro and Silver, and it's Bathurst. Mountain always wins. So in Am class, I want to know from the 4 of you, who's winning the season in Am class this season?
Probably just if he shows up and keeps it clean, I feel like Floomp is pretty sizable ahead. Actually, it's double points at Bathurst. It could be a toss-up for Music if he just keeps it out of the wall and say Floomp does have an incident.
What about Hopkins though? Hopkins is
I was gonna say,
races.
if he shows, I know he's got pace over this Am class, and not biased because I believe he's our teammate Willie.
He is.
So I know if he does show for both of them, it could be a good showing.
But also, look how consistent Kenny's been as well. Like, he didn't show up for one race, and he's got like a third, and a second.
That's what I'm saying. Like all of these drivers, I mean, except Music dropping a P10 in the first race, right? Beyond that, all these guys in the top 5 are very consistent. They just gotta show up for the race, right? Yeah. But and look, real life happens. I don't know what they have going on in their lives. I'm not trying to pick on them. I'm just saying there's a lot of consistency here between the 5 of them. That if they show up for India and Bathurst, it could get really spicy towards the end of this season, right? Like the Am class is kind of open. Flump's got a decent lead over Steven Music. He's, I would say, probably been. It's hard to say with the number of dashes on the screen, but I would say overall has been the most consistent. 4.4, 5.2.3. If anything, he's only improved throughout the season. Right now, my money's on Floop. He's showing up. He's driving consistently. Music has opportunity. Yeah, the other guys need to show up, and we can see where things go. Right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the Pro-Am and ask the same question. Justin Seckham, Gian Cardoso, Stephen Tomazic, Josie Austin, and Edward Walsh. Guys, where are we looking here? Because this is very close. 3 points separate 1 and 2.
Whoa.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like 2 points separate 3 and 4. Again, 2 races left. Double points on the final race. Who's taking in Pro-Am?
Justin.
Oh gosh.
It's definitely gonna come down to Bathurst. Like Indy doesn't matter.
Think so?
Well, you say that.
I think Justin, though, he's very consistent apart from his P12 that he had. But I think he got tangled in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
But he's very, very consistent, and he's determined, and he practices.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying everybody else doesn't, but
No, but you know what? I mean, again, I'm just trying to look across the 5 weeks we've had so far and see Justin, of course, doing very well. A single race drop, P12, getting hung up in some stuff. Cardoso though looks kind of the same, right? 2:10, 2:6:1. That 10 he got hung up. If you discount that race where he got hung up in an incident, very consistent near the top. A P6 in there, but still 2 2s and a 1. That's not bad. Tomazic, a 6.3753, still very. These drivers are all very consistent. Again, just looking at the top 5, drives me crazy to see 2 points apart between Steven and Josie for 3 and 4. Our podium is going to come up really to a toss-up here at the end, and I think I wouldn't disagree that it's going to come up. It's going to come down to Bathurst, and I'm not. That's not to say Indy doesn't matter, but it's going to come down to Bathurst, 100%. Sorry.
I wouldn't say. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Whoever was talking.
I was going to say I don't think Indy's going to be the absolute. Is going to decide it on its own. But I think if people don't turn up to Indy, because I know it's a very hate or love or hate track, that could swing things.
Yes.
With double points, like you have to show up, right? Surely.
Yeah, you have to show up to Bathurst.
Yeah. Very good. We'll see. A lot of close races this season, and where it's going to land at the end. Let's take a look at silver. Timothy Glendinning continues to lead 219. Here it's a little bit different. Lewis Rickard, 174 points. Brandon Walworth in third. Rob Kesar in fourth. And Mike Burkhoff in fifth. Now, Kesar and Burkhoff are tied for fourth right now, 152 points each. So if you come down, Gasolina has missed the last 2 races. I'm not sure he can make the next 2. So Gaz may be falling off. But if you look at that, 6-1-1, man, if Gaz was showing out, I know he had to be away for work. If Gaz was showing out, we might have a different list here right now. But Glendinning kind of running away with this at this point, right? I mean,
Yeah, pretty much.
he's almost, over 50 points up, around 50 points up in the standings.
Yeah.
In that Audi for Silver Class. Louis Ricard still with an opportunity, but that 12th place finish this past week at Oulton really dinged him back on that. Walworth has missed a race. Rob Kesar, I gotta say, I think Kesar is having a great season. Kesar's been around since the beginning of Box 3, been a year and a half, 5 seasons, and continue to watch him improve throughout every season.
Absolutely.
He's gotten better and better, so really great to see him up there. Mike Burkhoff is one of those drivers, and we've got a few of them in the league, that are sneaky. Because they're never in stiff competition with somebody, right? So the camera doesn't focus there, but yet they finish consistently. I mean, if you look at Burkhoff, top 10 finishes all season, except for the one race he missed, right? But we never see him. I never focus on him a lot. It's like he's able to get a gap, he's able to set his pace, and then just drive his race. He doesn't have to worry about anyone else. You know what I mean? Just one of those things. I don't know. He's kind of one of those stealth drivers to me. And we have a couple of them in the league.
Absolutely.
So, who's taking this one, guys? This Glendinning?
Timothy.
The person in P14.
Yeah,
Adam Willie.
yeah, Adam Willie.
Adam Willie.
P14, Adam Willie is with 109 points. Listen, you got to beat Rivera, right? Rivera's disqualified with 2 misses. You could take Nick Paquin. You could take Rick. You could take Pixel. You got.
He can't. Nah,
listen,
I'm his kryptonite.
7 points within Pixel, man. You got. So let's. Okay, here's the deal. We could talk about the top 5 real quick. But Glendinning's kind of running away with it. So this one's a little bit more gapped than the other classes. But I got to tell you, Pixel and Willie is what we're going to talk about at the end of this season. I want to know who it's going to be.
I mean, he's got a good chance because I'm not turning up next week. So.
Oh.
But
So you're missing Indy?
I'm not doing Indy. I'm not doing Indy now.
Okay.
and I might not do Bathurst.
Oh.
I mean,
I don't know yet. But I think I can get it up into the P10. I think I can finish in the top 10.
Think so? Well, yeah, not with missing
What is that?
Bathurst.
30 points?
Not with missing
30
Bathurst,
points?
though.
It's double points though, Willie.
We'll see after next week. I know.
Anderson, if that were my teammate, I'd be very upset. He was just leaving me hanging on the last race with double points. I'm just saying.
We'll have to do a lot of training.
Well, let's take a look at Pro Class while we think about the training you're going to do at Bathurst. Jake Wells continues to lead this out. The number 84 McLaren. Charlie Booth from way down under is currently in second. Anthony Anderson, there he is. Even with the 5th place finish last week, still in third. Tom Foose and Tobias Gable bringing up P5. So, what do we think, guys? Who's taking the Pro Class this season?
I'm gonna have to say Anderson.
Ooh, bold prediction.
Bold?
That's the
prediction.
that's the makeup for that Bathurst comment.
Just a little bit.
So Anderson, since you're the one that's here, let's ask you this question. You've got Indianapolis and you've got Bathurst in front of you. Which one do you feel confident at? Which one do you feel like maybe you're gonna struggle?
Oh gosh. Well, Indianapolis, I practiced a lot on Saturday, so the day after the race, and have relatively decent pace. It's kind of coming to me. I mean, we'll see when it comes to race day if I can, put it all together and maintain it.
Okay.
Bathurst, I've always been kind of sketchy on. Like you said earlier, the mountain always wins. I always seem to find a way to clip a bumper on a wall. along the way, especially considering this is going to be an hour-long race. I really have to keep it composed. And there's a lot on the line since it's double points.
I thought it was an hour and a half.
Is it an hour and a half?
It is.
An hour and a half.
Even more, man. All right, even worse. But I'd say right now I'm more confident in my Indy than my Bathurst, but that's just because I've been doing some practice on Indy. But
Okay.
time will tell.
All right, very good. You got Charlie. You have Charlie Booth. You have Jake Wells in front of you to contend with. You have a decent gap back to Tom Foose, right? A good gap there, about 20 points. Tobias Gable, though, Tobias has had a great season. We saw that second place finish that he got at Oulton Park this past week. Tobias is another driver that I love to watch, again, as someone who watches the races, because I've watched Tobias race from his Xbox days at a former league all the way to now on PC, you're making that transition from from console to PC and continuing to improve that entire time. So he's a lot of fun for me to watch, and I'll be interested to see where he lands at the end of the season. Only a 6-point gap up to P4, so he can easily get there. And if Anderson just decides to toss it into the wall on Bathurst, he might be able to get up to P3 and land a podium this season. So you never know.
It's
don't do that,
such a
Anderson.
hard one to call, though, isn't it? Because they're on their best day, they're all as fast as each other, so it might just come down to pit stops and strategy.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
So hard
just
to call.
It's close. For the top five, we're all relatively like equal pace.
And I'll tell you
So
what,
that's the
anybody
fight.
who's Anderson, I gotta tell you, anybody who's Pixel just said it. Anybody who goes back and watches the last 2 weeks, pit stops decided positions in the last 2 weeks. 100% we watched on stream as pit stops decided positions. It was insane seeing the pit stop difference. There were 3 and 4 second differences for guys that were separated by a second and a half on track, and it literally changed their positions on track. So pit stops are going to be a big deal in these last 2 races. I can't wait for it.
Especially Indy. Big track with pit stop advantage.
I was going to say especially Bathurst.
Oh, I think Indy's got a huge curve with how you can handle your pit stop, especially with how long it is and the type of entry it is. Not many people are going to be used to how weird that entry is.
Yeah, that's true. And the length of Indy's pit stop definitely makes that something to look at. But I suggest also Bathurst, because there's going to be a lot of little bits of damage here and there, people bashing into walls, clipping walls. That's going to build up over time. And if people do decide to repair it, over 90 minutes could make all the difference.
Good, 100%. Rob Keesar's in the chat. Pitted Indy will be huge. If you don't know the entrance, you're going to miss out big time. So, is Indy a track where it's easy to pull a pit speeding penalty?
It's not necessarily the entrance like into like the pit zone. It's just the entrance getting into the pit lane.
Okay.
It's very weird. It's in the middle of the apex of a turn, essentially. So instead of completing the turn, you just kind of like turn into it slightly, and then it's kind of like a windy entrance. And then I think the line is further down, but it's just knowing when to get into the lane is a little funky compared to other tracks.
Gotcha. All right. So,
well,
guys,
Anderson, just
go ahead. Go ahead, Adam. I'm sorry.
Just give me the signal and I'll slow up Wells for you. I mean, to be fair,
did that come out loud?
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean I am running at AM pace at Indy, which is not good.
Oh.
Well, we'll work on that, Willie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's gonna get bad. All right, guys. So let me talk to you. Indy. We've got Indy coming up this weekend. Bathurst afterwards. Let's go through the roster. Anderson, we'll start with you up there in the top right corner. Which one are you looking forward to most, and which one are you fearing the most?
Looking forward to is Bathurst, just because of the double points. So many things can happen, even though I'm petrified of that track, because it'll literally kill you, chew you up, and spit you out all over again. Indy will be fun for me just because I feel like I've done a bit of practice now. But in terms of just pure excitement is definitely Bathurst to see how everything wraps up.
All right. Adam, what about you?
Neither.
Neither. You got to pick one.
Neither.
One of them has to be better than
I
the
don't
other.
have-
They can't both be horrible.
Probably looking forward to Indianapolis then.
Okay. All right.
And I don't want to even think about Bathurst.
But how can you not enjoy Bathurst?
I have yet to make a valid full lap around
Oh,
Bathurst.
Lord, Anderson, I hope you didn't bet on him for your team winning.
On-
We'll work on it, Molson. Don't worry. I'll take care of him.
But yeah, I have not completed a lap on ACC or iRacing on Bathurst.
Really?
Oh,
So,
we
yeah.
really got work to do, bud.
We really do.
Man, I wish my rig was put together right now so I could come and race it. I would go on track with you, Willie, and run Bathurst. I love that track. I love running it. And again, slow driver, not gonna lie, but it's like a roller coaster. And when you hit it just right, it feels so good. That's what I love about Bathurst is when you make that clip down the hill, coming down, down the whole downhill section, when it just clicks together, it is a fantastic feeling. It really is.
Yes.
Pixel.
So
What about
I've
you?
been told.
What am I looking forward to?
Yeah, which
What
one?
track?
Which one are you?
Well-
which one are you dreading, and which one are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm not doing Indy purely because of the fact that I've done about 10 laps hot lapping in ideal conditions, and then went onto the server to try the night time. Done about 5 laps, and I just thought I really don't have the motivation this week to push
Okay.
to get the time. So, and I can now watch the boxing. So that's a plus. But I'm excited for Bathurst. I really am. I'm looking forward to that one.
All
That
right,
should be
excellent.
fun.
Davis.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Bathurst, but Bathurst is also the one that scares me the most as well. Oh, we lost him now. Anyway,
We just lost Willie. And he screwed up my entire picture. Like everybody's looking
God.
at this going
Yeah,
right now.
now
Why
I'm
is Anderson
split
cut
in
in half? Willie, because Willie lost his camera. Oh, and that doesn't even work. Look at this. This is just a show. This is just
Willie's
awful.
ruined it.
Oh my God, he
I'm
blew up the
sorry.
entire show.
I'm sorry.
This is ridiculous.
I'm
Good job,
sorry.
Willie. We get to watch Cut in
apologize.
Half Anderson for the rest of the night because you decided to break your camera. Oh my God.
Well,
Anyway.
now I know Jake likes me cut in half.
Oh.
Davis, I'm sorry. What
Just-
were you saying now? We're going to leave
Right,
Anderson
right.
cut in half, guys. I can't adjust it on the fly. And what were you saying, Davis? Go ahead.
I'm looking forward to Bathurst, but I'm also scared of Bathurst.
Okay.
Indianapolis can go and throw itself off a cliff. That track is whoever I feel sorry for who I feel like whoever designed that track was locked in a room and held hostage until he designed something. It's really that bad.
Wow, that's brutal. Unbelievable.
Ouch.
All right.
But is Adam with us?
Yes.
He's here.
Maybe.
He's just his camera's broken, and I
Can
can't
you hear me?
fix it now.
His
Let
camera's
me-
on.
Let me tell you, Adam, I can do a clean lap of Bathurst on a controller. Now, if I can do that, you can get a clean lap.
That means nothing.
It means everything.
You could get a clean
All
lap.
right,
You just got to
I'll hop on
practice.
right now.
Go with Anderson. Anderson will show you the line. He's got the
And
line.
yes.
And there goes my sound again.
No, I can hear you.
We can hear.
Yeah.
We can hear
He
you.
can't hear us.
Anderson, you've got to whip your team into shape if you're going to beat my team.
Seriously.
I haven't even looked at the team standings, to be frank.
You wouldn't want to because my team is
Hello?
winning.
Willie, just so you know, we can hear you, buddy. Willie cannot hear us. Oh, it is just a show on his end. He's gonna get all weird now. All right, guys, let's jump into rig, roast, and review for this week. Let's go. Lewis Ricard, my new favorite driver at Box 3, because apparently, according to Lewis, I'm the GOAT. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Nice.
he says so. TSXW with an SF 1000 wheel, a Dell 32-inch ultra-wide LCM pedals, and with a Ryzen 7 3800X plus an RX 5700 NLR FGT rig at Next Level Racing. So here's the only thing I got to say about this. My cones and rods would be all screwed up in the lighting in this room because it's all purpley and red.
Yeah.
And that's the only, other than that, it looks fantastic. Like I think it looks good. But the lighting, what is going on with the lighting?
No,
Clearly, the person just likes purple.
Rickard likes purple.
I mean, it's got kind of Amsterdam red light district vibes about it,
Right?
to be honest.
Oh,
Like,
that's
has
true.
somebody dancing in the
too.
window.
Also, it's also uncanny how much of Ricard's setup is exactly the same as mine. He's got the same wheel, he's got the same rim, he's got the same
Okay.
monitor, he's got the same pedals.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Do you have the same light? So you just need the lighting
I got the same lighting, and does that mean
and
I'll be
a hooker dancing in the window? Apparently. Is that
I
what
mean,
you were
I
You're
mean,
saying?
gonna get cut in half
I mean,
again.
in my area,
Yeah, you're getting Anderson's getting hacked in half again. This is brutal. Oh, it's just awful. Willie is just killing it tonight. I think we lost him completely. Yeah, he dropped out completely. We have lost Willie. Everyone is going to have to look at Anderson cut in half for the remainder of the show because we are about done and I just cannot fix it.
Sorry,
Let's just,
looks like you're running a 4-cylinder now.
I know, right? Let's take a look at Aguilar's setup. Now, looking at Aguilar's, he's got the Next Level Racing, kind of the same. It's like the Next Level Racing version of the Playseat Challenge. I don't know what they call it, and he gave no details, so I can't really say. Looking at this, I mean, this is how I started. I think it looks like a decent setup. That CSLDD is there. He's got the round rim on right now. Here's my only question: if you look in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, one monitor blocks the other part of the other monitor that blocks part of the other monitor.
Yeah, that's a bit.
That's the only part I don't understand of this. That's the only thing I can't understand of this setup is if you can't see the whole monitor and can't see the other whole monitor, do you have triple monitor?
I'm guessing he has the one on a swivel.
Okay.
That would make the most sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Let's do it.
still,
Well, no, they're all on stands. If you look in the bottom left, at the bottom right, every one of them's on a stand.
Oh yeah, unless he just moves that right one.
So I wonder if he just moves them around when
Oh,
he's
yeah.
racing versus when he's like using it for
Yeah.
productivity or what have you.
yeah, probably.
I would be curious to know from Aguilar though how that CSLDD does on the Next Level Racing kind of foldable rig. Because again, I started on a Playseat Challenge with the CSLDD. I was happy. I was okay with it, right? Like you understand what you're getting at the time, and so you kind of realize it's going to vibrate more. It's going to shift a little more. It's going to have a little bit of bend. But I'm just wondering how the Next Level, the Next Level Racing seat does in the same manner. So it'd be curious to know that.
I quickly established I was too large for one of those seats.
Oh, really? Okay.
Can I be heard?
Yes, you can be heard.
We can hear
Okay.
you.
Can you turn
Okay.
your camera back on, buddy? Because you got Anderson cut in half, and it's horrible. It's just the poor little fella.
I tried. I cannot. My phone is at 2%.
Oh my lord. Okay. So
I
it's dead.
apologize.
You're good, man.
Yeah, it's dead.
We're gonna leave Anderson cut in half right there on the screen. Everybody can watch him be sliced up, which Jake
Well, if he
apparently
just-
enjoys. So.
If he just moves ever so slightly, boom, he's in one shot.
Well, he is, but
be
then
alright.
That's what I'm
it's still-
doing right now.
It's still happening.
It's just his arm. He doesn't need it.
Tim Glendening sent us this one. Now, this one that looks scary. I mean, the wheels on a again. He's in a Playseat seat.
Yeah.
I don't know this setup. It looks like a Logitech. Those look like
Yeah.
the Logitech pedals. And when I meant,
G29.
yeah, like when I said this looks scary, I guess what I didn't realize was that the wheel is actually on a wheel base. It's not, it's mounted to a stand. It's not hooked to the desk, because I was trying to figure out how it was hooked to the desk, and I'm like, as I looked at this picture, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
It's just very dark.
It is very dark. It's hard to see, but that play seat is, I like the play seat seats. The Challenge I enjoyed, and that looks like a comfortable seat. Even from the back, it just looks like it works. So G29, but Glendening running it out. He's doing really well on it. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's a prime example of like gear. The gear isn't necessarily the thing that's going to make you faster, because
100%.
Glendenning's
Yeah,
fast.
exactly what I was going to say.
It just helps. It helps. But it doesn't completely make or break you, but it helps.
Yeah, because like we've got Glendening, he's on the Logitech hardware. Delilah Hazel also was on Logitech hardware.
Yep.
And I happen to know that Josie Austin in Pro-Am is on the generation older than that. So,
no kidding.
yeah, she's
Oh,
on
wow.
one of an older generation Logitech.
Wow.
And clearly it works for her. So, yeah, there must be something about these Logitech wheels.
No, I think it's the driver. I do. I was on a Logitech one time. I was still slow. I'm slow now. It doesn't matter what I put in my hand. I'm still going to be slow. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Moving on. One last one. Walrath threw his out. The RGB is astounding.
Oh my god, it's unicorn vomit.
With the keyboard and the PC.
Oh God, yeah, don't say that.
And please, for the love of God, manage your cables a little bit. Just a little bit. This was the only picture provided and no details of like the specs of the PC or anything. I don't even understand this setup. I don't know what that seat is.
The seat you sit in.
Yeah, I know that, but I don't know what it is because
Sorry.
there's like adjustments at every corner. I don't know what to call it because I don't know what it is. Because again, no details were provided. So
It's just chaos. I love it. I think it's brilliant, but it's just unbridled chaos, and I wonder how we can focus.
Yeah, it looks very difficult to focus in that seat. It really does.
I'm trying to zoom in on it to see if I can even make out what it is. It looks like a Thrustmaster base, but I could be wrong.
It is.
Yeah, it's a
I have the same base.
TSXW. I think it's got the red top.
Okay, gotcha.
It does have the red top.
Yeah.
But again, if he's comfy, let him be comfy. But dude, manage your cables a little bit for me. You drive me crazy. I'm gonna lose my mind. I can't handle it. That's just craziness. And I will tell.
And my USB hub.
What?
Trust me, my desk is not the best right now. I get it. But I will say this, guys. That was, as we watch Anderson continue to be cut in half. There are that
Oh god.
Walrath's post was the last one because, as I said, I cut off anything prior to January because people had posted multiple images. They had upgraded since we started this, all these different things, and so I wasn't able to really tell what was good, what wasn't. I didn't want to show somebody's old hardware versus their new hardware. So again, we started over in January, at the beginning of January, going through these. Walrath's rig was the last one posted. So if you guys are a member of Box 3 and you have not posted again to Rig, Roast, and Review to that channel on the Discord, I would ask you to do so that we have more for next week because we're going to have nothing to review.
Now you got one so far. And
Do
I'm
we?
going to say it's going to be a specialty for you, Molson.
Oh, perfect. I cannot wait. I'll go look as soon as we're done here. I'll go take a look as soon as we're done. But I tag them all and yeah, throw them up, guys. Please put them up there because we do want to go through them. Whether you've made changes or not, we cut off in January. We were done. Like we started the first of the year fresh and we're going through them week by week here on Recovery Drive. Well, with that, I'm going to ask Adam Willie, you first. What is your message to the drivers coming up to this week at Indianapolis?
For the Pro and Silver split, pass on my left. And to the Pro and to the Pro-Am and Am guys, good luck. Have fun. Don't screw up your pit entry. And can I join you guys?
Actually, before I ask anybody else that question, I'm going to ask you guys something else that I completely forgot that I told you I was going to bring up and then I forgot about. Probably because I've been up since 1:30 this morning. I'm a little tired. There was a conversation had in the season 5 chat this week after the Oulton Park race. And we talked about the incidents, we talked about all that stuff. And I wanted your opinions. Basically, someone said, and I'm not going to agree or disagree yet, that they shared the broadcast link with a friend of theirs. And in doing so, their friend came back to them and said, wow, you race with this league. Why? And there was a concern that there would be an embarrassment after seeing a race like this, racing with a league. So what are y'all's opinions on that? Because I read the whole conversation myself and I wanted to interject. And at the same time, I stayed out of it because I did want to talk about it tonight. And so I want to give you guys opportunity to talk about it. So let's get Davis. What do you think? When you see something like has happened in the last 2 weeks, what do you think about that league?
I would think that it's no different to any other league, any other sim racing league to start with, and also not that different from real life either. Like, I don't understand people's mentality when they look at a league that has multiple incidents and they think, oh, I don't want to race with a league that has that many incidents. And you look at like actual real life GT3 racing, and you can have incidents that are a lot worse than what we had at Oulton Park. Like the one that comes to mind, I can't remember what year it was, but it was Macau. And one car, I just remember this is etched in my mind. Just one car blocking the road and just almost the entire field piling into them. Almost all the field taken out in one go. And I think, well, we've not had anything like that.
Yeah.
If the professionals can have incidents like this, why can't we? Why should we be held at a higher standard than professional drivers?
Okay, Anderson, what do you Anderson, what do you think?
I feel like Davis took the words right out of my mouth. This happens everywhere. I watch other league races from time to time just to kind of check out what's different. If there is any differences, and honestly, they all have their own incidents of their own. And if a league tries to say that they don't have anything, then I'm gonna guess that either everyone drives super safe for whatever reason, or the penalties are just so stiff that nobody wants to even risk it. And if nobody's going for any sort of risk, then that's kind of what racing is when you pull a Danny Ricciardo send down into a turn. Like it's a thrill, and you're gonna have to take risks to get success. So I just feel like it's kind of inevitable. Things happen, and as long as people aren't playing bumper cars, that's one thing. But if people are just racing hard and things happen, then it is what it is.
All right, Pixel, how about you?
I think from our point of view, we got to remember that and this is renowned through everything, is that negative reviews stick more sort of in your mind than any sort of positive interaction that you have or any feedback. You're going to focus on the negatives. Amazon and other online stores are available. Got to say that apparently. So that they're sort of, you see a lot more negative reviews than positive if it's a bad product, same as websites and stuff like that. And I put in the chat the same as what Ridian said. Basically, is you get that in every forms of racing, every single league, even up to sort of the pro level and esport level. You get it, it happens, but we need to focus on the positives and the good stuff that happened and the good stuff we could take out of that. And with that positive reinforcement, you could maybe reinforce sort of the drivers to better driving standards and being a bit more cautious, rather than focusing on the negatives and making everybody feel a bit like poo,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And actually, one other thing I wanted to add is that in some respects, we're better than professional esports competitions because we have a sense of camaraderie that they don't. They're all out for blood. They're all backstabbing. They all want to beat each other. They don't care how they do it. Whereas every single race we have, people are heated. People have these moments where they just want to, rant and rave because their race has been ruined. But at the end of the day, everybody comes together and tries to make this community a good place to race.
Absolutely. And that was a lot of what I took from it myself in sitting back and reading the conversation. Was, again, much what you said is real life racing, right? If you've decided to put yourself in a vehicle weighing 2, 3, 4,000, whatever it is, depending, it doesn't have to be GT3 racing, it could be anything, right? Weighing a lot of with a lot of weight, made of plastic and composite and metal, and you're going to hurl it around a track at 200 miles or 200 kilometers per hour, things are going to break, right? Things are going to happen. Things are going to snap off. People are going to make mistakes because they're people. The same is true in sim racing, except lives aren't on the line. Real money's not on the line for the most part. We could talk about esports separately, but when we talk about league racing, there's no money on the line. There's no lives on the line. Nobody's going to die. We're not going to have a Ricky Bobby running around the track afraid of the invisible fire, right? It's not going to happen. Point being is yeah, it sucks. I despise. I mean, if we go back to season 4, where the first, Anderson, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the first 3 or 4 races of season 4 that in the pro and silver class were just brutal. I mean,
that's because I was the one that was involved in all of them.
I mean, just brutal. And no, I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying, like, it was literally pileups every race for the first 3 or 4 races, and it was just insane. And
it took rain to stop it.
It did, and that's what I said. I honestly thought about today. I had to plow snow today, so I was outside plowing snow today. And I'm like, you know what? They want to keep it up. I'm just tell Huff I'm gonna dump rain on every race and for the rest of the season. Indy and Bathurst, both rain races at night, cold and rainy.
I feel like Indy in the rain wouldn't be too bad, but Bathurst in the rain, I'd jump off a cliff.
Yeah, well, quit running into people, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. Because it seemed to shut it down last time. To your point, you brought it up. It shut it down last time.
Hey,
right?
Last week was that was my first contact of the season, so I was doing good.
You picked a bad time to have the first contact. I have to say,
you did.
Yeah, having pole. Yeah.
All right, guys. Like I said, I just want to see what everybody thought about it, and that conversation that we saw happen on the Discord this week. But overall, I think we do well, and also, I'm a strong believer in it's not the action that matters necessarily, unless there's malice behind it. It's not the action that matters, it's the reaction, right? So when you talk about, well, that was embarrassing. You race with this league, and that seems embarrassing that this league is broadcasting this, blah, blah, blah. Well, the problem there is the people that watch the broadcast don't see the reporting and don't see the stewards doing their job, and don't see the penalties, and don't see the final standings, because they don't come here and watch, or they're not a part of the league, right? And I think that's a big part of it too, is that people, the members of the league, get to see that things are handled fairly, and are, problem people are dealt with swiftly, and I think we do that well at Box3. So I think that's one of the big aspects of it is, nobody gets to see the sausage getting made, right? So, I think that's a big part of it. With that, gentlemen, I am ready to call it a night. As I said, I've been up for quite a while today. Any last thoughts from any of you? Willie, Pixel, Anderson, Davis?
Well, I'm a bit upset we haven't seen Willie drink those 5 Mountain Dew yet.
Well,
you should have been paying attention.
He turned his camera off. He hit it so he can say, "Oh no, I drank all 5, but you can't turn my camera on."
No, listen. Okay, I'll be honest. I did drink 4.5.
Technical errors here, Adam.
That's what that is, right?
You should have been paying attention. I drank them.
See you drink any Mountain Dew the entire time your camera was on.
Really?
He's shaking his head too.
No, I saw it. I saw him drinking Mountain Dew.
Oh, because you're his teammate, Anderson.
No. We could clip it back. I know I've seen it.
God damn it.
Anyway,
hold on. We were told the first 5 were for chugging, and I definitely did not see any chugging.
Okay, no, he didn't chug them.
Okay, hold on. No. The first 3 I did, and then my stomach started to hurt, so I had to slow down.
That's your 5.
But I didn't see it. I saw no chugging.
You were paying attention.
It
was at the very beginning. The first 3 were at the very beginning. No, you weren't.
You're lying. You're telling stories.
Go back and watch it. Go back and watch it.
Listen, you can lie to me. You can lie to yourself. Don't lie to our viewers. That's all I'm asking you, Adam. Don't do that.
You can lie to us, but don't lie to the viewers.
There you go. See, Davis
Molson,
gets it.
don't lie to us.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm quite glad that we've all focused on his addiction to Mountain Dew, and not focused on my dive.
No, I'm gonna be honest. I'm good for Mountain Dew for the next couple of days.
There you go. You're all set, buddy. All right.
Thanks, Pixel.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. If you are a member of the Box3 Motorsports League, pay attention soon. There will be a post coming out. If you'd like to join us here on Recovery Drive, you will have opportunity to do that. I would love to have more drivers on. We had Justin Secom on last week, and it'd be great to have more of you guys come in here. So pay attention to the Discord for that. I'll be putting that out here probably in the next day or two. But for myself, I want to thank Anderson. I want to thank Pixel. I want to thank Willie. And I want to thank Davis, all you guys for joining me tonight. And we will be back next week after Indianapolis. I really hope we don't have to talk about Anderson crashing into everybody again.
Oh, great. Now you've done it.
Now you're lying to the viewers.
No, I just try to commentate. I'm trying to commentate or curse you before the race even starts. How's that sound?
That's just zooming in on me at the start of the race.
No, Anderson, you're one of my favorites, man. I love watching you drive. I love watching all you guys. So again, thank you everybody for joining us this week. We will be back Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Indianapolis race, and Recovery Drive returns next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For myself, for all these gentlemen joining me tonight, thank you so much, folks, and have yourselves a great weekend until Sunday when we're back for racing. Later, taters.